Right now, former President Donald Trump is attending a hearing on his classified documents case in Florida. It's taking place in a specifically equipped secure room where Trump's team is facing questions from the judge on their strategy, their defense strategy. Dana Marie McNichol is live in Miami with the details on this. Dana Marie.
Harris, this is not an ordinary federal hearing because, as you mentioned, it involves classified documents. So this criminal case is going to be handled completely differently. Now, this morning, we did see Trump's motorcade arrive at the courthouse. The sealed hearing is happening as we speak right now in a special room that can hold classified documents. It's called a SCIF, known as a sensitive compartmented information facility, and one was built specifically for the Fort Pierce courthouse. The soundproof room protects from electronic eavesdropping. Now, in Trump's case, some of the documents FBI agents seized at his home in Mar-a-Lago were marked top secret and are considered classified documents, hence the need for this level of security. Trump's co-defendants in the case are not there today because they don't have the security clearance to see the documents. This complication has already caused delays in the case since preparation takes a lot more time. Now, this morning, they're talking with Judge Eileen Cannon, a Trump appointee, about their defense strategy and how they will keep classified documents classified throughout the case. Then this afternoon, there's another session for the special counsel where they will talk to a judge about their own strategy around those classified documents. Now, this case is currently scheduled for May of this year, but we do expect the judge to push that to a later date because of those complications around the classified documents. Harris.
Thank you for all the detail. Good to have you on Outnumbered. Thank you. All right, let's talk about the difference in these cases. Can we?
Can we? That's the thing. The average American looks at this case and they see Hillary Clinton, bleach bit hammers to her devices, and they see Joe Biden. I'm going to quote just directly from the report, so there's no confusion. After learning of the special counsel's appointment in this matter, Mr. Biden's ghostwriter deleted audio recordings he had created of his discussions with Mr. Biden. During the writing of his memoir, the recordings had significant evidentiary value. So the average American sees that and sees Hillary Clinton and then sees this and wonders what the difference is and feels there is a two-tier justice system.
Can I double down just with this question, because we were on the couch together when this story was breaking. So there was a day right before the election in 2022, and we were just starting to kind of find out about the UPenn Biden Center documents that had been found. It was quite some time before we really knew what we were looking at, that they were classified documents, that they'd already been, turned over to the archival system and so on and so forth. Then they came across another treasure trove in December. The American people, it took 4 months to really tell us what was going on with those documents. So we don't know how expeditious the turning over actually was because we weren't privy contemporaneously to it.
No, we weren't. And just want to underscore one other point here with President Biden. 5 of the pages of the documents had HCSO material. This is human source material that could jeopardize human sources. Everyone, every president should treat classified information with the dignity and respect it deserves.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask you about. We have men and women in the military and CIA and other intelligence agency arms of our government all over the world. If there are human assets, if there are people who are part of our democracy protection that are laid bare because of something that was in a box in Biden's garage that looked like it had some water in it at one point. The boxes were like all worn away, and some of that stuff had to do with Afghanistan.
No, it's shocking.
It says it in the report.
Yes, and it is shocking to hear of a former vice president treating national secrets so casually, so recklessly. When they do jeopardize, those kinds of national secrets can jeopardize men and women in uniform or working clandestinely on behalf of this country. And I would say the same thing for President Trump's situation as well. Classified information must be kept extremely close held and treated appropriately. But to your point, Harris, too, about the nature of what these documents were in the case of President Biden. They were handwritten entries about issues of national security and foreign policy implicating sensitive intelligence sources and methods straight from the report, and it's about Afghanistan, the crisis that happened on President Biden's watch, that he has continued to be very determined that we not have a national discussion about that or hold people accountable for the decisions that surrounded that precipitous withdrawal.
Lisa.
Well, I think Joe Biden's whole approach this election cycle is, okay, things might be bad, guys, but the other guy's worse. And I think a lot of Americans are asking themselves after this report, well, is he? You know, you've willfully mishandled classified documents since the 1970s. How is Donald Trump the threat to democracy, particularly when you look at a president has the ultimate authority when it comes to classification and declassification? A vice president doesn't. When Joe Biden was a senator, sure doesn't when he was in the Senate. So I think this negates that line of attack that Joe Biden has against Donald Trump, and it adds fuel to Donald Trump saying this is a witch hunt.
You know, I want to get back to what Rebecca was talking about, though, with Afghanistan, because that was when you first saw the polling start to tank with Biden, and he has never come back. We don't know if there are things in those documents that he had in his garage parked next to the Corvette about Afghanistan that had anything to do that would maybe, I don't know, taint his decision-making, influence his decision-making on that withdrawal from Afghanistan. He certainly wasn't listening to his generals per reports.
Yeah, and I think no matter if you're Democrat or Republican, we should all believe in the rule of law and let it play out as it should with an independent, neutral person like the special counsel and the Department of Justice. And I look at this, there's both sides, and I appreciate, Rebecca, you actually mentioning that. Both sides here have not done the right thing. I think that President Biden and Vice President Mike Pence, though, were very clear in opening up everything. Now, he didn't know where all the things were.
Well, Hillary Clinton didn't do the right thing.
Well, I'm talking about Pence and Biden. Unlike, frankly, former President Donald Trump, who you had to get a subpoena for him to finally comply to what they were asking for.
But that's not true, though, because he's had these documents since the 1970s, the 1980s. So Joe Biden did. That's not true. He told, in 2017, he told his ghostwriter that he had classified information. He just didn't want to turn it over. So he didn't do that because he's had them for forever. So that's just not a factually true statement.
And you know what else he's had forever?
That is a true
rotating staff. So when he stands there and he blames his staff for mishandling these documents, that is a huge head scratcher. Like which staff? Who? Where? Can you remember?
Well, your staff in the Senate, your staff as vice president.
And I thought you
You're
get
the one
fired
on record telling your ghostwriter you had
others,
it.
right? Wasn't that the day one
Oh, you're
promise from
right.
Biden? You get fired on day one if you blame others.
That was part of the Zoom on his first day, I believe. Okay.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.